Hi everyone, I'm back. Back again. Jack Black. Black Jack. Smack that. Flapjack. I haven't uploaded in about a week. A little bit more than a week, maybe a week and a half. And to be honest, I have only one excuse, which is that I have been really freaking busy. And work was pretty trash for the past, I'd say week or so. And I was just, man, it was just bad. Just being dead tired and having no energy. I come home and I just want to sleep. And that's what I did, really. And it just like sucked because I had no energy to do anything. And you know, I wanted to upload. I actually have a lot of things to talk about. I feel like a lot of things happened and so many interesting stories that I could have told, and you know, at the end of the day I produced nothing. And it just made me upset a bit because I'm like, I don't even know how I'm gonna get back into the groove of things after I just, you know, I was doing so well too with my uploads. I felt like I was doing pretty okay, and then I just come back and, you know, I put out a pretty, like, my last video was actually very fun to make. I went to this convention with my friend from uni, and it was really fun. And then after that, I had just like the awful week that I just had, and yeah, now I'm back to being finally, I guess, not free, because I'm still doing work, and it's just more like the calm before the storm, you know, because I'm gonna be doing this all over again next week, and I just have that alternating schedule of I'm busy, then I'm not busy, and it kind of stinks because it just feels like it just takes away too much of my time, and you know, by the time I get home again, I just feel more lazy. And even yesterday, I could have uploaded a video, but I didn't, because again, it's hard for me to get back into the groove of uploading. And you know what? You know what they say, get back into the groove of things. You know what? The first step is just trying, you know. So I'm back, and yeah. First things first. I don't want to be too negative in this video, but maybe I'll just get rid of the negative stuff. You know, you want the good news or the bad news first. You know, we'll start with the bad news because that's just how it goes. But yeah, as I said, I've been working pretty hard, and honestly, I just haven't been feeling good, and I don't even know how to explain that feeling. Like, what does feeling good mean? I just don't feel great. I've just been kind of upset at nothing. I've been kind of upset at nothing for no reason, and it's just, the days have been long. Everything goes bad. Like, everything just went horrible. Like, my commutes were bad. You know, I haven't been talking to my friends. I haven't been, you know, like, I just been talking to anyone, and I haven't been, like, doing the things that I enjoy, like playing games or watching many of the movies that I wanted to watch, and all the shows. Like, I was watching a show and then I stopped watching the show. The show was Daredevil. I don't know if anyone has watched the show, but I picked it up and then I dropped it because I was getting angry at the fact that it was so long. I was getting angry at the fact it was so long. I spent, like, I swear to you, I was watching it for, like, man, every bus ride, and I was only up until, like, episode 4 or, like, 5. And it was like, what the frick, I've been watching this show for 3 days, I'm only on episode 5 of season 1, and there's 3 seasons now. Or is it 4? I don't know. But there's a new season. I think it's 3, actually. Yeah, that's the new season. And I'm like, damn, bro. I'm not even gonna finish the show, and then I got tilted. I didn't want to finish the show. Damn, bro. Stinks. And I've been upset at other things, too. But I guess I'll talk about some, you know, I said I wasn't watching Friends, I wasn't watching movies, but, you know, on the weekend I actually did, after, you know, all my terrible work week was done, I actually did go out and see my friends. I saw my friends. I watched a movie. I watched a Mario movie. Funny enough, Daisy is in the Mario movie. Did you guys know that? Spoiler alert. But I don't give a shit because you probably should have watched it already by now. But Daisy's in the Mario movie, believe it or not. And if you don't believe me, then go watch it. And if you watched it and you're like, wait, what are you talking about? Then you didn't watch the movie, bro. That's all I'm saying. You didn't watch the movie. You didn't watch the movie. I love Daisy. She's like my favorite part of the movie. Anywho, you know, again, I was able to do some things when I was not busy, so I was, you know, it was great. The biggest thing that happened on the weekend, though, was a engagement party that I went to, because my cousins just got engaged. And that's pretty big. I think this is my first, like, real, like, close cousin that I have that actually is getting married. And yeah, it's a pretty big thing, you know. She went to the Philippines and her boyfriend proposed to her. They've been together very long, maybe over a decade, I think. For some reason, marriage and weddings and proposals have been coming up recently. I even watched sorry, I don't even know what I'm saying, but I watched a whole you know, wedding like speech on Instagram Reels, like just out of nowhere. This guy's making a speech for his brother, and I thought it was a really fun video. And that's like one of the first videos I watched when I was allowed to watch YouTube again after Lent. But anyways, you know, lots of marriage stuff going on, I think, like, for me recently for some reason. And, you know, I talked about it with my friends and stuff like that. But the thing I found out with their proposal, which I thought was really funny about their relationship, was I didn't actually know how they met. And they were talking about it during the party, of course. And they actually met at a place called Kennedy Station. Now, you're probably wondering what Kennedy Station is if you didn't, you know, if you're not from Toronto. But basically, it's just one of the stations on the subway line, the TTC. And I gotta be completely honest, it is actually kind of hilarious because it's not really like a destination where you would probably meet the love of your life. But you know what? It's, you know, that's just how it goes. And it's really funny for me because I pass by Kennedy Station every single day. Every single day I pass by it because it's kind of like the hub and where I live. If you want it to go, like, it's like the main central transit, like, segue if you want to get to downtown, which is where I work. And so it's really funny to me because I commute by there every single day, and I don't think I'd ever imagine myself meeting someone there. Not even just the love of my life, my lifelong partner, but even just anyone, because it's such a, gosh, it's such a place. It's just a place of all time, you know? It's just like one of those places where you're like, wow, this exists. And, you know, it got some renovations recently because a new subway line opened up, and, you know, there's 2 lines that can go towards there now. But it's just such a, man, just Google Kennedy Station and you'll understand what I'm saying, or watch a YouTube video on it. It's just such a remarkable place. And yeah, I just thought it was so funny, and a very interesting, you know, lore drop from my cousins. And I gotta be honest and say that it's a bit refreshing to hear that, because it's not like it's not like some like fancy schmancy type of deal, you know. They met at a subway station, you know. It's kind of, and I think maybe it's just me, but like that would never happen. I feel like, at least for me, you know, for my, I think, well, not even for me, but for I'm saying my generation, but I'm just saying like the newer generation. I don't know if you can really meet anyone on a subway like that, because, you know, just be on their phone. People are antisocial, don't talk to you if you even try to talk to them either. You try to talk to people, like they'll like move away or like think you're like harassing them. Like, what the freak are you supposed to do, man? Like, you can't be doing anything. And this is unrelated to anything what I'm saying right now, but it's just like, it's so funny because my dad was kind of talking about this whole generational thing earlier this week when he told me and my brother and my mom, I guess everyone, my family, at the dinner table, about how when he first, because he actually used to live in Vancouver, he didn't live in Toronto. When he lived in Vancouver, taking the subway or the car, like the train car, or, you know, what's that? I'm missing the word. Not train car. I don't know, streetcar. There we go. I was like thinking about what the freaking word is. He's taking the streetcar. There's only 5 cents to get on. Can you believe that? 5 cents. Or he said 10 cents. And then he remembers that it got increased to a quarter that like after a few months. Imagine that, taking a bus ride for only a quarter, you know? That's kind of crazy, man. And he used to say that when he was in his neighborhood, everyone was so friendly and, you know, you'd be saying hi and it felt like a gated community, he said, like a very nice gated community. And then, what happened? Lots of immigrants. And I'm not, you know, I'm saying this like as if my family isn't immigrants themselves, but you know, like, you know, a bunch of immigrants came, right? And you know, it kind of lost its friendliness, I guess, because you know, people just wanted to make a name for themselves, and we didn't care about the OG community, even though it's stolen land. But you know, you kept my point. You know, it was a lot different back in my papa's day. You know, I just thought to myself, man, like it's so, I don't know, man. I just feel like the world is so disconnected. I'm not like one of those like. Now I'm really being a pessimist right now, but it's just like it feels so. I don't know. It just feels so disconnected. Even today, man. Like today, I was on the train ride home. Well, not the train ride, sorry, the bus ride home. And there was this, I'd say, high school kid who was on the bus, and she went and asked the TTC driver, you know, about directions and stuff, which was really funny. Because the TTC driver was actually not the driver himself, but a passenger on the bus. So. Yeah, I thought it was the driver, but it's not the driver. He actually just got on the bus and he just sat there, which was like just like so odd. And after that, she didn't sit close to me, but she was in my view. I already talked about where I sit on the bus. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you gotta watch that TTC video. But she was in my view. She was sitting in the right side of me, sitting in one of those chairs that face towards the front of the bus, and another kid comes on, maybe a little bit older. I don't know. He looked like he was also in high school, but maybe let's just say like, you know, senior, maybe in college, first year college. And this girl was probably like a junior. I'd say junior, sophomore maybe freshman even. I can't tell these days. You know, they look so young. But he goes up on the bus. He asks her if this goes to blah 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 destination. STC, which is a mall, and she's like answering him like she is so lost. She's like, yeah, I think so. I think maybe ask her. And then she like points to this lady who's sitting there with her AirPods on, and he doesn't even ask her. Like he just ignores her comment, and then he just like sits down, and it was just like the weirdest, oddest like. Like, why was that interaction so awkward? You know, like it was just a question, and then she like answered it so awkwardly. Like, I don't really know. Like that's actually fair though. Like she didn't know because she even asked for directions herself. How would she know where this freaking bus went to? But you know, she was like, oh, ask that lady, and then he doesn't ask the lady, and the lady doesn't even know what's going on because she got her AirPods on. And then we go. You know, we move forward, and we get to, you know, different stops and more people come on the bus. And it was just really funny because what happened was this guy who had a really heinous smell, BO, body odor coming out of him, came on the bus, and I could just see that she was very uncomfortable. And then she actually moved seats. She didn't sit beside me, but she sat in the seat like very close to me, like on my left instead. And I just thought that was also pretty hilarious because damn. I actually couldn't smell it from where I was sitting at, but you know, I can tell because not even like she wasn't the only one that had a reaction. Is all I can say. And yeah, it's just like, man, like I know these things seem so simple, but it's just like, why do I feel like interactions are just so like, why can't we act like people anymore? You know, like we can't even ask a simple question. You can't ask for directions no more. You can't be sitting around anymore because people be smelling like dog water. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, at the end of the day, all I'm trying to say is that I wish as human beings we could just connect better, and I miss just. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I wish I could talk to random people more, but I just can't. You know, because I'm too scared now these days. It just I don't want to get like put on Facebook or something, you know, or say that I like attack someone. I thought I was just trying to start a conversation. But anyways, I'm feeling a bit down, feeling a bit sad these days. So mind my pessimism, but you know what? I'm trying my best to keep going. Hope you all have a great day. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you heard some background noise, that's my mom watching The Devil Wears Prada. Because the second one's coming out, so sorry about that. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.